Today we are saving the interior of my Miata after it got absolutely roasted by a subscriber. This video will show you exactly what he said, and because of it, be showing you how to replace an HVAC panel in a Miata. Let's get right into it. So what is this absolute flame of a comment that got me to replace my HVAC panel? Well, on my first start of the year video, on this thing I was showing off the interior a little bit, and Master Roshi said, please change your HVAC panel, it looks like toenail fungus. And this comment absolutely had me cracking up because I know I've needed to replace that thing for a while, and this was the motivator to actually do it. Alright, so all you'll need to treat your crusty old HVAC panel is a big Phillips head screwdriver and a slightly finer Phillips head screwdriver. To remove your tombstone that HVAC panel is behind, we first need to remove the center console here. Now I have a full in-depth video on how to do this, but to start out, there are two screws, one on each side right there. There are a few underneath that cover there or underneath your cup holder if you still have that. And then there are a few within that console. I'll show you those real quick and we'll get that out. And then of course, once you get those screws out, your shift knob itself will just untwist and you could get that out of the way. And now with that center console out, we have access to one screw at the bottom of the tombstone, and then we need to pop this vent out and get to another screw, and then this whole thing will come off. I want to take this opportunity to say that if you're interested in putting a double-din radio in, like the one that I have here, I make these panels custom and I have those linked down below. Alright, so now we're at the HVAC panel, and of course, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff still plugged in. My AFR gauge is plugged in. I did unplug the connector for the hazard lights and the pop-ups, and then of course my radio is also installed here. You could unplug all that, but you don't have to. To remove the HVAC panel itself, there are 4 screws, 2 on each side there, and then there are also these small screws on the bottom of these to remove these little knobs. That is a tiny little screw right there, but then this will just come right off. Alright, so now that all these knobs are out of the way, this panel will be able to come off once we unscrew it. Of course, there are just the 2 screws left on each side, and then we should be able to remove that. Alright, so now we could get ready to start putting everything back together here. Now this is a self-adhesive back part, so I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off and stick this in place. And it's actually pretty cool to see how this thing works because it's got all the colors on the back and that's what shines through and that's what you see. Go ahead and get this thing all nice and stuck on here. And now we could go ahead and clip our main panel back into place. That's all set. We could go ahead and get our AC button back in place. And finally, we could go ahead and put all of these little knobs back in place. but I think I'm actually going to secure this thing in place first so that way it's not moving around on me. All right, now this new panel is all installed, and honestly, it does look great. It's a huge improvement over what it looked like before. Now we could go ahead and start getting everything back together. And now let's go ahead and get the center console back in. Almost lost another screw there, but we saved it. Last thing, shift knob back on. And this is now all set. And with that, the new HVAC panel is installed in this car, and it looks way better. If you need to do this to your car, I have these parts linked down below. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it. Let us know down below how your Project Miata is doing and what else you're working on other than an HVAC panel. And of course, subscribe for more. See you at the next one.